Good morning. I'm Reverend Carolyn Harvill of the Louisville Center for Spiritual Living, and it is my pleasure this morning to bring you a talk. We would normally be meeting at this time, but with the snow and ice and cold weather, we decided that our congregants needed to stay at home and stay warm. And so we canceled our service this morning, and we wanted to offer something that for those who are at home and new people who just want to check us out. So I'm going to be giving a talk in a few minutes, and we welcome you. We welcome you however you found us. We're glad that you have. Okay, we have been studying this month, the first 4 chapters of the Science of Mind textbook. Ernest Holmes is our founder, and he wrote this book, and it is the basis of our teaching. And so during the month of January, it is customary for each of the centers to focus on the first 4 chapters of the book. And they are the thing itself, how it works, what it does, and how to use it. So we are in the 3rd week. So we are in the week about what it does. The thing itself is called by many names: Spirit, God, the I Am, the Buddha, the divine mind, just lots of different ways people have to identify that power and presence that is in the whole of the universe and in us. And so we as a center, as a philosophy, want to learn how things work. Ernest Holmes called his teaching the science of mind, with the understanding that we could understand how the universe worked, how to relate to spirit, how to be more proactive in creating the lives we wanted to create. And so he named it the science of mind. And he encourages people, he encouraged, and he still is through his writings, encouraged people to test what they read and to do exercises and prove to themselves that the presence that is always right here, right now, and that it is good and it is for us, not against us, and its nature is givingness. It wants to give us anything and everything that we need and want. It wants to give us the lives that we enjoy living. And so we're going to start this morning with a text from the Science of Mind. And it is: the practice of science of mind calls for a positive understanding of the spirit of truth, a willingness to let this inner spirit guide us with the conscious knowledge that the law of the Lord is perfect. So the practice of science of mind calls for a positive understanding of the spirit of truth, a willingness to let this inner spirit guide us with the conscious knowledge that the law of the Lord is perfect. And so we want to talk about how do we do that, and what does it mean to have the deep awareness, consciousness, and willingness of the Spirit within us, guiding us, directing us, supporting us, and giving us that confidence that we can choose, and we can choose with confidence what we want to have in our lives. Now, Dr. Reverend Fred Vogt was a minister in Mile High Church in Denver, Colorado. Mile High is the largest center that we have, and it is in thousands, and it is a wonderful beacon. It's been a large, thriving center for many, many years, and the ministers, it's given us some really neat ministers, and Dr. Fred Vogt is one of those. So I'm going to read a quote by him when he was talking about this chapter. What does it do? It changes lives. It changes them drastically and dramatically. It provides us with a scientific method for doing so. It eliminates the unwanted elements from life, producing ever-increasing good. It picks us up and turns us around to face toward the light in our good and provides confidence and strength for the journey of life. It gives a reason and a purpose for living and adds zest to every experience, brings new dimensions of dignity to the human scene, and provides us with an inner assurance and confidence and authority. It eliminates greed, selfishness, hypocrisy, hatred, fear, and frustration, and puts one at peace with God and with our fellow man and with ourselves. By this, it eliminates all from our consciousness and hence from our experience, poverty, illness, and unhappiness. It lets us see that the problems with life are like the dark side of the moon, needing only the light of truth, the truth of God within us, to dissolve those appearances into nothingness. And then that inner light can shine on our pathway more and more into that perfect day when sorrow and sighing shall flee away and bring us finally that total awareness of our at one month with God and life. That's what it does. It's a beautiful quote, and it really, if you take it in pieces and all, it is dramatic in what Spirit does. And it also is pointing out that we have to be receptive to it. We can block it, or we can be open to it and bring it into our lives. So it changes lives. It eliminates the unwanted elements from our lives. It gives us a reason and a purpose for being. And it brings new dimensions of dignity to the human scene. It provides us with inner assurance and confidence and authority. By all of this, it eliminates from our consciousness and hits from our experience poverty, illness, and unhappiness. If there were no poverty, no illness, and no unhappiness, what would life be like? Whether you're talking about an individual or a community or the world, what would it be like if we had elimination of those limitations? Because that's what they are, it's limitations on the power that is ours to use. One of the analogies that we sometimes use is that we have an operating system. The computer has given us lots of opportunities to do analogies, and so we all understand that an operating system is what is the basic running of that computer. It creates its own ways of being, and it is the underlying restriction or benefit of those using it. Now, when we're talking about an operating system in a human being, we're talking about those things that are buried in our subconscious that we don't even think about anymore. We just act on them. And they are all the ones that are keeping us from having the lives we want, are all about thinking that we are limited, thinking that we're not good enough, we don't have enough, we're not smart enough, it's not for us, it's for someone else. And those kinds of things will block the Spirit moving in our lives freely. And so what we want to do is replace that operating system of limitation with the truth of Spirit, which is that we are more than deserving, that we are smart enough, that we are good enough, that we have the power to do what it is that we want to do because we are one with Spirit. And so as we accept that oneness, as we know that oneness within ourselves, then we begin to shine the light on the dark side of the moon. Those things in our subconscious that limit us. We shine the light of truth, of Spirit, on that area of our lives, and it is healed, whatever it may be. Mahatma Gandhi said, we succeed when what we think and what we say and what we do are all lined up. We think with our subconscious and our conscious. Our conscious inputs into our subconscious what is happening and what it's thinking and the things it's reacting to. And they go into subconscious. And they have done that all of our lives. And so some of the things that are in there came to us as children and young adults and in limiting situations in our lives. And so it is up to us to replace those outdated, limiting beliefs in life with the light of truth, letting it shine on that area and bring it to the place where it is truly at one with Spirit. I wish I could say it was a one-time thing, but it's part of our journey. Because as I've discovered, and I think most others have discovered, is that one area we heal, and when we get that healed, then all of a sudden here's another one, expressing itself, and we get the opportunity to heal that one too. But that's fine. That's the journey. That's the process. That's the growing that we do. So, think of one analogy is like a loading dock, that you are the loading dock, and you have all these doors open, okay? And something starts toward one of the doors, and all of a sudden it closes. It closes because of one of your limiting beliefs. And it keeps Spirit from coming in and being to you what you need it to be. And so we want to look at those things, and we want to open our doors. And sometimes when something's coming our way and we feel ourselves resisting it, maybe the image of opening the huge door into our dock and letting whatever it is that's so special dock into our lives, that image may help us to do that very thing. There's never a challenge that doesn't have an answer within us. We have the infinite intelligence is part of what we are. So if we have any sort of problem that we need help with, if we will allow Spirit to help us, to guide us, to direct us, to inspire us, then that problem will go away. And it will be replaced with more and more confidence in Spirit in our lives. And that's what we want to do, is have that confidence in our ability to call on Spirit and to have Spirit answer always. Some of us try to bargain with, try to push, try to put our agenda, our timing on Spirit, on the universe. And so we push against it. And we're trying to mold it. It's up to us to use the Spirit, so we're going to use it and make it do what we want it to do. It's never about making it do what we want it to do. I know most of you have heard the story of the naval vessel that was sailing in a very dark night, and there was a light that they could see ahead of them. So the captains told the radio men to radio them and say, you need to change course. And the answer was, no, you need to change course. And the captain got really angry. And he said, you tell them that I am the captain of a U.S. naval vessel, and they have to change course. And the response was, we know you have to change course. We're a lighthouse. You can't push your way to what you want. The only thing you can do is let Spirit work with you, and then follow the inspiration that you receive. then you can be in that place where you are creating more and more of the life that you choose to create. So, the confidence that we get is going to give us the understanding that our good is always right around us all the time, that Spirit is constantly sending us our good, and we constantly have the opportunity to accept it, and that it will be good. There's good in the universe, and we ought to use it. There's power in the universe, and we ought to use it. These are all affirmations that people have used over the years, some from Ernest and some from others. Emma Curtis Hopkins, good is my God, God is my good. Good and more good is mine. An ever-increasing good is mine. I can feel it, I can see it, I know it, I rejoice in it. Good and more good is mine. Affirmations help us to focus on Spirit in our lives. And so when we create one, and use it, then we are doing some work on our operating system. We are tweaking it and making it more usable and more supportive of our choices. And so I recommend that you do find some affirmations that work for you, that feel good to you when you say them, and that you can see the truth of as you say them. And they may be, I've known many people who thought the universe was against them. And so they've really had to struggle with understanding that the universe is for them, always for them. And so if that's part of what is your issue, then you need to find an affirmation that talks about good is my God and God is my good, and it never fails to support. So we next week are going to be talking about how to use it, and we'll be talking about more of the practices that we have that we use to help us to formulate more of the lives that we want. So I invite you to come join us next week. Now, if we're meeting, then we will have the full service recorded, including the music and, readings and things like that. We just really offer a time to celebrate and know truth about ourselves. And it can feed us for a long time to come, to really understand the joy that is Spirit. And so thank you for joining us this morning. I want to close with an affirmative prayer, which is what we call the type of prayer that we use, and meaning that we pray it not in a please, please, but in a I know that you are good, and I know that you are for me, and so I know that this is true. So, first we recognize Spirit. Spirit is the power in the universe that created it, maintains it, and evolves it. And it does this in our lives as well. Spirit is creative in so many, many ways. We look at nature and we see Spirit. We look at ourselves, our bodies, and we see Spirit. That perfect balance, that perfect strength, that perfect willingness to be our support. And so we know that as Spirit is, we are. And so we know that we are creative as well. We are loving, and we are supporting each other all the time. And we are grateful to know that. And so we know many things based on what Spirit is and who we are in one with it. We know that we are blessed, blessed with health, with wealth, with joy, with purpose, with life. And we breathe into that clear knowing. And we let it be. And we are grateful. And we know that as we have spoken the word, it goes forth and creates. And so we seal it with the words, and so it is. Thank you again for being with us. Next week we have our regular service. We also have a workshop where we will be looking at our 2019 and thinking about what do we want is good in our lives in the coming year. Hope you can join us. Thanks again. Enjoy this cold day and stay warm. Thank you.